They still have. So welcome to the 30th meeting of the FY25 Westborough Advisory Finance Committee. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, an act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, this meeting will be conducted in person and via remote means in accordance with applicable law. This means that members of the public body, as well as members of the public, may access this meeting in person or via virtual means. In-person attendance will be at Memorial Hall, inside Town Hall at 34 West Main Street, and is possible by all members of the public body. And it's possible that all members of the public body may attend remotely with in-person attendance consisting of members of the public. This meeting may be accessed remotely via the Zoom link posted in the agenda. When required by law or allowed by the chair, persons wishing to provide public comment or otherwise participate in the meeting may do so by in-person attendance or by accessing the meeting remotely, as previously noted. Additionally, the meeting will be broadcast live in real time via Verizon Channel 28 and Charter Channel 192 or via Westborough TV's online platform at westboroughTV.org and youtube.com/WestboroughTV. This meeting will be recorded and live streamed by Westborough TV. I've heard you read that hundreds of times, and it's apparently much more difficult to read than I expected.
It's not very smoothly written. And
Did you get the email from Beth saying she...
I'm on.
Beth is here.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so John was going to introduce our new member, but I don't see her here.
Yes, I thought she was going to be able to log on. I've checked my mail, and I don't see.
Did she know the same way I did that the Zoom link is wrapped in the agenda?
I'm assuming she was sent the agenda. I haven't heard from her. Well, anyway.
Okay.
If she, I'll stay on for a little while. If she shows up, I'll let her introduce herself. But just to get things started, just to let you know, as you all know, Gene McMahon had asked to not be reappointed because he's got some other priorities in his life now. So I continued my search for potential candidates, and I've spoken with Saroja Hanasoj a couple of times. And then so she could get a sense of what it's like to actually be on the committee. She spoke with Walter, so thank you, Walter, for doing that. And so I'll take this opportunity to thank Gene for his years of service, and I will welcome Saroja, but once she's here, if it's not tonight, the next meeting, I will let her do a better introduction of herself rather than me trying to recap what she told me. So the committee's now back up to full strength, which is very nice to know. And I'm always interested in hearing of names of people who might be interested in the future. So if anybody knows anybody, let me know, because it's always good to have people that I've talked to just in case anything comes up. But with that said, if Saroja does come online, I'll ask that you just let her introduce herself. And other than that, I'll let you carry on your meeting, and I'll stay here for a bit to see if she gets online. If not, we'll see you next time. So thank you.
Great, thanks, John. So with that, our next agenda item is budget transfers. John Steinberg confirmed today that there are no budget transfer requests yet. I assume we'll want to schedule at least one more meeting sort of before mid-July, just to make sure if we do have any budget transfer requests that come up. But at this point, we don't have any. I'm going to assume we don't have any public comment since it's just us.
The place is empty.
See how efficient I am, Walter?
You
We're
are.
zooming through.
This was overdue.
So I did send out minutes from May 12th.
I didn't see the June 2nd come through.
No. So did anyone have any questions, comments, issues with the meeting minutes that we sent out?
Move to recommend we accept the meeting minutes from, was it May 12th?
May 12th.
Sorry, thank you.
Second.
All those in favor?
Oh, we have to.
Oh, we have to roll call vote.
Sorry.
Oja, yes.
Blumberg, yes.
Bradley, yes.
Brant, yes.
Clap yes.
O'Day abstained.
Oh, Leslie, yes.
Ooh, I'm not sure.
That's okay.
All right.
So what we got?
How many of this?
We got 7
Yeah.
here.
I guess I should have counted.
Yeah.
610.
601.
601.
601.
Oh. Yep. All right. All right, so with that, if we want to, I think do liaison assignments first, and then if people have any reports they wanted to share. So we're missing Adam.
I was gonna say, do we want to talk about them in general and get any reports and then do selections when they're here? Or do you wanna just?
The problem is, are we gonna get everyone here, right? We're not going to at our
Fair.
next meeting. I mean, before fall, I doubt we get everyone here. My thought was if we go through, I mean, I think we can leave some of them open, but let's make sure that we don't have any of the major departments that aren't covered. Even if we end up shifting those, let's make sure we have somebody in place now.
Fair.
But you're probably right. I mean, we may as well do any updates we have first, and then from there jump into any we might want to discuss. I don't have any from school.
Recreation.
School's out.
Yep.
The recreation department, the dog park is almost ready. There was some work. I feel like I may have said this, and if I'm repeating myself, I apologize. There's some work that needs to be done on one pipe in particular, but they're very close to rolling it out. And 2 different sections for different sized dogs. No monitoring yet, but if history is any indication, they're expecting a sort of a community to grow up around this. There's a number that folks can connect to the animal control in case there are disputes that need to be resolved, and the animal control officer knows that they may need to swing by there. But very excited about having that up and available. And so the rest of the programming is going very, very well so far. The new site is very popular with folks.
Okay, somebody asked me about the beach. What do we know about the beach, Andrew?
So what we know about the beach is that we don't have full-time lifeguards there. But what they're doing is they're expanding the role of the folks that they're hiring to work the gates. So there will be folks checking. They're expecting to have a nominal fee for access to the beach. I think it was either $5 or $10. And I think it's $5 for one person, $10 for a family for the whole summer. And the idea would be that they're starting to skill up enough folks that could come back in the future, could also double as lifeguards. And what that will get you for the folks will be people who can manage the restrooms, make sure that they just keep the place generally tidy. And there's talk about different ways that we can try and leverage the rec team to improve the beach. For example, they were thinking about bringing an extra load of sand. But that's all still being discussed, and they know that it's a resource they want to leverage. With this payment plan, there's some conversation as to whether or not they want to engage other towns as well, who have always had sort of shared rights to the beach. Shrewsbury, I think, is one of them that's had 30 slots that they've been able to use. So I think it's all on the table. The charging is not expected to offset the cost of the people, only to defray the cost. The rest of the expenses come from revolving rec. So it's really just a matter of finding a way for accountability and getting some money to offset what's going on there. So
Do we know when they're planning to open then?
They didn't have a date when we talked about it. I can certainly, I'll reach out
Curious,
to Jen.
'cause, 100 degrees tomorrow. I can tell you there are lots of people already there,
Yeah.
as there
There are other
typically
ways
are.
to get in.
There also are big piles of sand already on the beach that haven't been spread, which I thought was interesting. Great big mountains of sand that actually look like they might be very
play dues.
fun. Right.
No.
So, okay.
I'll reach out to rec and see if they have an answer for the date.
And one more thing about rec is this Friday night is the annual block party at the town commons.
Good catch.
And that is, most of it's free. There are there's about 4 or 5 things that you buy tickets for, but the majority of the event is free.
Isn't it supposed to rain on Friday?
No chance.
Just a comment for Westborough TV, the video is a still.
Okay.
You mean like frozen still, or isn't still?
It's actually a picture of a circle, emblem? I don't know.
Yeah, I was wondering what that picture was. Some weird rotary engine from Mazda.
Illuminati.
Right, something.
Perfect.
I can give a quick update on the snow and ice. So we received the final report, and of course we have the new chair now copied over, so she can comment on it as well. But just to bring everyone up to speed, since last year when I started with the liaising with the DPW, I think they have been kind enough to give more information around what their expenditure is. So every week, Maria from DPW, she sends out a report on how much they have spent and how much is remaining, as well as any transfer requests that may be coming up. They have closed for this particular FY period, and I think with the additional information, if anyone is interested, definitely can share that as well. But it has been helpful to have that additional information, is what I wanted to say. Yeah.
Do we know anything about the library? I've just
Sure.
really been waiting for a library update.
Okay. Well, the library is opened in their new location, and it's stunningly gorgeous to me. It's larger than the other library, but everything's set up and looks well organized, and I think it's going to be a great place to hang out for a year or so. We actually have our building committee meeting tomorrow, so I don't have the latest, greatest everything going on because we're kind of monthly right now. But the funds will be available. So anyway, the construction group is starting to get busy and do work. So that should be ongoing, and should be able to report as we go along. But so far, so good. I think it's going to be a nice. I mean, what struck me when I went in there, I don't know if you've all been there yet, was that when we saw the plans for the senior center, there was a lot of breaking it up into lots of little rooms, which also makes it a lot more expensive to do. And whether there be some more consideration of, it's a nice space as it is. You got obviously you want to separate it so you can do different things, but
Right.
maybe it doesn't need as much as what architects would design for you when you ask them
Meaning the
design
space
the
doesn't look
ideal
as
senior
bad as the
center or
impression
something.
we all got, or maybe
Yeah,
there's...
it looks, I mean, it's very nice inside.
I will say that the architects did go on record when they were here saying that it actually, to have a senior center that would be available to others sort of stigmatizes the other things, because people don't want to go to was it the veterans or any of the other organizations, because it feels too much like it's part of the seniors. But I very much am a fan of a much more open plan, because we as a town just want to break down these barriers and silos. To me it seems, not even just for the cost, to me it just seems like there's net positives, and it doesn't have to look like a senior center. It just needs to look modern, clean, safe. My 2 cents.
All right. So if we don't have any other updates, there are a handful of, I mean, largely I think looking at what Rod and Jean were covering. Police and fire were a big one that Jean was covering. I think Council on Aging, I'm not sure is as urgent. Prashant worked with Rod on sewer and water, so I think those are easy. I mean, that leaves us wastewater, which probably isn't a huge urgency either. Affordable Housing Trust is probably not as urgent. And I don't know how we feel about Municipal Building Committee. But so those are the ones that we don't have a current representative on that we probably want to look at, I would think sooner rather than later. So that's 9 total. Oh, 8.
What about the ones that you're doing?
Yeah.
Are you keeping?
I mean, so I had schools, which Beth, you're also on, and then youth and family services. So, I mean, I think the Council on Aging and youth and family services become sort of a combined one at this point. So we probably want somebody to take those.
It's this same director now, right?
Correct.
Yeah, the same
Yeah.
department head, so that would make a lot
Yep,
of sense.
so that becomes one, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
I think for the youth and council, I was actually thinking both has combined itself and probably volunteering for both. I mean, unless obviously if there's anyone else who would want to take it up, but given a family where I have parents along with me and they are definitely interested in anything which Westborough has going on with the aging programs and what's latest and the greatest in aging, I think I would definitely love to be
Okay.
part of that. Yeah.
So update that.
Can I ask a question in terms of, the role of the liaison? So what's the level of involvement with the departments?
Very, well.
I mean, I
sorry.
think it really depends on the committee, right?
Used to
So,
talking.
for school committee, right, they have regular school committee meetings that I would typically watch or attend. You have some budget meetings with their finance director and with the school. Other committees, I mean, as far as like youth and family services, I happen to live next door to someone who worked there, so we generally just sort of chatted through what was happening, but it was a lot less work. So it really depends, right? I mean, the library is probably more work now than it is typically because of the library building project, right? If they weren't building a new library, it would be much
Yeah.
less.
So like in a library condition, normally you'd probably watch some trustee meetings and then just sort of before we get into the season for, this is probably true of any department, before we get into the season of a town meeting or fall town meeting, just check in with the department head and say, hey, you gonna have any articles or blah, 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 or anything going on of interest to the committee? But, so, basically almost none until we ask a question, right, of a liaison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some liaison positions where you're actually on a committee, like the library building committee or the capital planning, so then you go to those meetings. But the others, I think your job is to be generally aware of what's going on. Like I did IT one year, so I checked in with him once in a while, but he would always come by when they had a request anyway, so
Right.
it's just someone that we can ask maybe to go ask the questions or contact them when there's something up. I don't think there's a huge amount of proactive in this. I think when Prashant does like snow and ice, you get that weekly, so
Yeah.
there's a little more work there because you go through their report every week. I think, police and fire, it's probably, they always have articles, so getting a hold of them ahead of time and getting the basics and a debrief, but we always hear from them as well, so it's,
Yeah, I mean, I think it really probably varies. Police, fire, DPW are all probably relationships with their
Yes.
department heads and working with them versus some of the others where it's watching committee meetings or whatever the case may be.
So Jane, which are the other ones that you want to fill?
So I think the one I would be most concerned about leaving open are police and fire, which were Jean's. I think that we want to have someone, especially, I mean, even looking at budget transfers right there. And again, the chiefs will both show up if they have budget transfers, but those are a little bit more high contact, high volume areas that I don't know that we want to leave forever. But
So from a
Fair.
personal interest, the fire and police would be of interest, and the school committee would be of interest, but I think you've got that covered.
somebody else is going to need school committee because I'm not going to be able to manage that also. So school committee is probably one of the larger volumes of work, though. I don't know that you would want to do all three of those
No, I think
together.
that'd be a lot.
so if you did school, then I could take on one or both of those unless
Okay.
someone else has interest in one of those.
And which one?
I could do I'm coming off having all the the chair has like 15 of
Yeah.
these or something. So other than library, I could do, say, fire or something, or police, or one of those, because I would encourage, our new members maybe do one, too. It's nice
Yeah.
to do at least something, you know, have one to start.
Yep.
School's a big one to start with, but you're pretty, I think you'd be fine.
Do we want to?
Well, we could wait till,
The new person comes, the other new person.
So
How about I do this, Walter? Can I put you down for those two for now?
Sure.
And then the next, as soon as we have sort of everyone here, we can maybe go through more in depth all of them.
yes.
So in theory, I'm volunteering you for them
Yeah.
for a few weeks.
Intro.
Would we be okay if I volunteered for municipal building?
Yeah.
Yeah, what I don't.
I'm not going to say no to volunteers ever.
Yeah. And I,
Just
Don't-
a note,
Yeah.
on the list, the contact for, schools is now Allison, not Amber.
yeah, there's all sorts of
Yeah, there's a
those that
bunch
age
of
out. We don't-
contacts.
We don't keep it up that today.
All right.
Just thought I'd mention it.
Yep.
Well, yeah. So municipal building, Rod was actually appointed to that.
Yeah, that's
and
what I was
think
gonna
he
say.
He may be still appointed to that, but I don't know if that
Okay.
position is specific to being on the finance committee. But we certainly need a liaison.
Yep, and
to
I don't.
keep track
I don't-
of it, and maybe that's even better that way for you.
Yeah, I'll
because
go whichever, like whatever we feel is appropriate, so.
Some, maybe you could find out from
Yeah,
Christie.
I'll
I
check and
don't
see
know
what the
that-
expectation in terms of being on the committee or liaising
Yep.
is and let you know. But either way, I mean, we need a liaison or
Yep.
someone on the
Right.
committee either way. So I'll let
And
you
if all
know.
I'm is liaisoning, then, or liaising, then if somebody could just add me to the mailings, just so I know when things happen, that's like the tougher part
Yep.
for remembering. Thank you.
And do you want the same person to be on police and fire, or does it not matter?
I don't think it needs to be the same person. They do a lot of stuff together, I think is why we typically have paired them. But the reality is I don't think they need to be together.
Yeah, right, exactly. There's
So did
certainly-
you want one of them? I'm happy to reassign one from Walter who didn't actually volunteer.
Voluntold.
I'll do fire.
All right.
And so I'd be interested in what Adam was, Adam's not
Is-
here too, and he's
Oh,
been here
yeah,
a couple
that's
of years
true.
too. But I don't think you should do school and fire in your first
Oh,
month of being
so-
on
I
the-
guess
No,
that's
no, no. So
probably-
it'd be
Yeah, so
one, I think
one or
it'd
the other.
would be police and fire or school committee, I think.
Or
I think
just even
probably.
police or
Yeah.
fire and school committee, 'cause
One or the other.
You'll have-
So two or one.
I mean, so I like the pairing of police and fire. I think they make sense just because of how much the chiefs seem to collaborate. But I think you could just do one of those two. But I think Walter's probably
I
right.
think
I
if
don't
you're
know that I
doing
would do
schools, you gotta
school
just do
and
schools.
No,
yeah.
that would
that's-
seem a
that's
lot.
big thing.
So I have an interest in both those areas. Because the school committee, I thought, like during town meeting, they could do a lot more to be a bit more transparent. And I don't know if that's a role that I could help influence a bit. So that's kind of where I was coming from the school.
Yeah, so I think that, given your background, it makes a lot of sense, right? So we had a lot of conversations. They have a new finance director as well as a new superintendent. We made some changes to how the budget was presented this year, and I think the expectation is to continue to make some changes there because there have been a lot of requests for more information and more transparency in that process. My background is also in finance, right? And so working with them in terms of how we could present that, I think makes sense. So I do think it would be beneficial because I think we need somebody that's willing to sort of challenge them a little bit and ask for more.
Yeah. So wherever you think, it'd be best, most productive. Those would be my interest areas initially.
Yeah, I think if you're willing to do the school with your background and your interest, I think that's gonna have a larger influence because the liaisons actually having a chance to meet with them early on in the budget cycle and discuss things and can certainly influence that a little more because there are some meetings
Okay.
outside of this.
And you can learn from Beth, who's been doing it for a long time as well, so.
Right.
So school actually has two
Beth
people.
doesn't want to do it? Or-
No, the school has two folks.
Two. Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
So we could
It's
partner
a
together?
big, you realize it's 2/3 of our budget approximately.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's a
know.
big-
I
So,
know.
so we always felt it was good to have
So we could tag team?
two.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not everybody can watch every meeting, you get different points of view, it's just important to have a little bit, because it's so large, it would be
Half the
like
budget.
another person was doing the whole town.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
equivalent, at least in dollars,
Right.
right? I mean, it makes sense to have a couple people on that.
Okay, so drop me in, whichever.
Okay.
Right.
So I put you in schools. I volunteered Walter for the others for now.
Okay.
What I might do before the next meeting is just sort of send out the list without assignments and ask people to,
See what they're interested in.
without saying, well, I'm going to steal Andrew's, right? Just say, this is what I'm interested in and get maybe it's an opportunity for a fresh perspective on stuff and then see who doesn't volunteer for things and they'll get stuck with what's left.
And also, if anybody's doing one now that they, I mean,
Yeah.
after so many years, you know,
Yeah,
I
right.
did IT for a while, and then someone else took it. It's a good starter one, you know, for somebody new that's less confident.
That's me.
Andrew got really excited about IT.
Wow.
You're one of our.
That said, the
senior
only
members.
two left that are assigned to Gina or Rod are wastewater treatment plant and affordable housing.
I guess we could see where the interest is, but I could do affordable housing.
Well, I
if
think,
there's interest
I
in it.
would think unless we're worried about something over the summer, we could wait on both of those unless we have any reason to expect. I mean, I guess
I don't think there's, if anything urgent happens,
we're gonna know,
Get
right?
called in to do an
Yep.
emergency transfer or something.
I do think Affordable Housing Trust is a good opportunity for somebody,
Yep, that too.
so,
So I'm basically willing to fill in stuff
Yep.
because I will not
cause you've
have too
offloaded
much.
all
I've
of the
offloaded
chair things.
a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And I think, I don't know if Prashant thinks, but the wastewater is similar
It's all
to
coming to
DPW. It's
crisp-
not,
Yeah,
Right.
it's
exactly.
not ridiculous, but if somebody, again, if Adam really had interest in doing that, it's a good, it is an independent board and not really
Yep.
an independent account, so. But to see, it's hard without him being here. So.
Yep.
But he's been here now, I think, 2 years, so, or this is second
I
year.
think this is second year.
Yeah, so he's ready to do some of this stuff too.
Yeah, he's got zoning board of appeals.
Which
about time to
we don't
voluntold him
yeah, I
for
don't think they
something.
meet that often, and it very rarely affects us, it affects people who are trying to build stuff
Yep.
in town, right? Cause I don't even think they do the warrant articles for the zoning, that's all planning board,
It's all
I
planning,
think.
yeah. Yep.
Who does planning?
Planning is
Wasn't
me.
it Ron?
Oh, that's you too?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, man, this guy.
Oh, see, that's why I think we have to go through all of them, because I think
Yep.
Prashant,
Yeah.
you've somehow ended up with,
Cause
Too
doing
many
all of
things.
DPW and
Planning,
planning
insurance.
and doing it,
Yeah.
maybe you wanna trade planning to someone,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
which also I could do if I wasn't doing something else.
that's why I think it's an opportunity to
Yeah.
do a fresh reset. And everybody pick the things they want to do, and then we'll fill in the gaps
Yeah.
with the
It's a good approach.
less exciting
I tend
sort
to
of.
watch planning meetings.
Mhm.
That's odd.
Yes, I've been told I have to find some new hobbies.
All right.
The first step was not being chair, okay, so.
Baby step.
Yeah, baby step.
All right, so future draft agendas or meeting dates, right? I think that we're all send out something, and at some point in the relatively near future, we'll go through committee assignments. We'll have to have at least one more meeting in case we have transfers for fiscal '25. Beyond that, I don't think I have anything else that we need on
Yes.
a future agenda.
I believe they have to be done by July 15th, which is a Tuesday, so.
So that said, that is the next 3 weeks. Do we want to just plan to
Maybe
meet the
do it
14th? I don't see any reason to meet in between. We have no other agenda items. If we just plan to meet the 14th, that's 3 weeks from now.
This Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing, maybe check with John, cause I guess it would, that would still be done before the 15th, I guess.
Right,
I-
that was my thought, is it
So
takes us right
the other part is the the AFC transfers only require us, but the other ones also require the select board, so they probably will have to have decided by
Yeah.
whenever, there's a select board meeting tomorrow, I think, so that means there'd be one on the 8th, maybe? So, I don't know. I'm just saying we might be able to do it on the 7th or something if you, I don't know what's better for you.
Yeah, select board meets the 8th. We need to sign before them.
No. Just, we would both have to do it, so that it's not like they could do it on the, well, maybe they could do it on the 15th.
So they could do it the 8th and we
They
could
might only
sign.
meet once in the summer.
If they approved on the 8th though, we could still sign
Yep.
14th.
Yep.
So,
The 14th works.
yeah, I say we leave it to the 14th. If something comes up, we can schedule a Zoom meeting, but I think we leave one last one.
If you don't need it.
If we don't have any transfers, I would say we cancel it. I don't see any reason.
But would we not still meet for the license?
Could do that at the next August.
Yeah,
Because the first meeting in August, you're really just kind of getting restarted and kicking
Yeah.
around,
With
and
the new
there is
year.
no real warrant yet,
right.
more than a couple of ideas, and the fall town meeting's easier anyway, so I
Can we, in
think
the
you could.
meantime, just express our interest?
Yeah, it's what I'm
Yeah.
seeing is I'll send out something. I'll update sort of the contact information, send out something with the different. The one thing we have to be cognizant of is we can't deliberate anything via email, which means I can't say, well, I'll take DPW if you take fire.
can't discuss
Right,
it.
that's exactly what we have to avoid.
I think just notifying people to see, and have them come to the next meeting with their interests.
Yeah,
would be-
so, I
On a
mean.
blank sheet, just on a blank sheet of paper,
Right.
go with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The reality is I would guess we're gonna end up with at least a transfer by the end of the year, right? I would be surprised if we
They
don't have
almost
any.
always end up with one they figure out after the year that comes to
Right.
fall town meeting, but I don't know.
There's always that $300 invoice on the
Yeah.
fall town meeting warrant.
Right. But I hadn't heard from anybody else other than the people that have showed up so far, so.
Yeah.
But. we'll see.
I mean, we also could keep it too if we had any reason to expect any of the committee assignments might be more, like the school committee's not gonna meet through the summer. A lot of the committees
Yeah.
are slow also, which is why I'm not terribly concerned about committee assignments.
Yes.
But I don't know if the dog park became a big thing and Andrew didn't want to deal with it. We could meet and give someone else rec or something. So,
Yeah.
I can handle
All
it.
right.
Yeah,
we
good.
can-
So far,
You got the dog
so
park
far,
moved.
so good.
all right, just make sure you let us know when the beach is opening.
I've copied you on the
There's
note.
all these
Jen?
people sneaking into the beach all the time. There were so many people there yesterday barbecuing, and it looked very fun.
Playing on the dunes.
All right, 7:33, and that's all I
Did we do
got.
minutes? Oh, we approved
We
them.
did do the minutes.
So then we can go.
Yeah,
Move to adjourn?
Bradley, second.
right.
Ahuja, yes.
Bloomberg, yes.
Bradley, yes.
Brant, yes.
Clap yes.
Leslie, yes.
OJ, yes.
That's it.
All right,
7-0-0.
we're adjourned.
Bye.
Q.
Bye.
See you next time.
So I'm still gonna be last, no matter what, because OJ.